Now to the new year and your kids as they head back to school. Concerns remain about COVID, RSV, and the flu. Joining us now is ABC medical contributor and physician at Stanford Children's Health, Dr. Alok Patel, to give us some tips on how to help keep our kids and our families safe. Dr. Patel, good morning. It's always great to have you. So right now, many families, as we know, they're coming back from traveling for the holidays after being in close quarters with friends and family. What's the most important thing to remember as we send our kids back to school?
Well, good morning, Whit. I think the most important thing for people to remember is the combination of the fact that there's a lot of respiratory virus out there, and we all just got done with traveling, gathering with families, and we're going to put all our kids back into an in-person learning setting, which is great for them, but parents need to be aware of the fact that there might be some sickness spread, there might be local outbreaks, and just to be cognizant, especially if you have high-risk children or your children or yourself are living with anyone else who is vulnerable.
Obviously, that is so important to remember, Dr. Patel. And there was a huge spike in RSV cases in the fall, the winter. We heard a lot about them. But we've heard lately that flu and RSV cases seem to be on the decline with COVID up. Where are we in this triple-demic?
Well, Janae, fingers crossed that decline stands, because you are absolutely correct. According to CDC data, influenza and RSV do appear to be peaking in some parts of the country. But here's an asterisk. Is COVID-19 cases are rising, and RSV and influenza are coming down from a place that was astronomically high, the worst RSV season we've seen almost ever, and influenza is still high or very high in the majority of states. And so with all that being said, people need to still pay attention to the fact, as we mentioned at the top, that there's a lot of virus out there, and we still have full hospitals, overrun emergency departments, and a pretty bad situation, although it's hopefully going to be better in 2023.
As parents, we often feel anxious about all of these viruses out there. You have responded to many of my panicked text messages. So I'm curious, should parents be worried right now?
Well, Eva, I'm always here for you. And as a doctor and a parent, I am not about the worry and the panic. I'm about awareness and preparation. Awareness is parents need to be aware of what's happening in their local communities and the risk factors of their children and anyone around their children also. When it comes to preparation and planning, basic preparation, making sure your children understand hand hygiene, vaccinations are all up to date. And planning is be prepared to keep your kids home from school, or you yourself may have to stay home if you have symptoms, and talking to doctors early and not waiting for symptoms to get worse or for a child to be in respiratory distress. Touch base as soon as you need to.
I've also heard from some parents considering sending their kids back to school wearing masks. And we know that some school districts are implementing mask mandates for the first couple weeks after the new year. Do you think that will help?
You know, in a specific setting, masks absolutely can curb the spread of respiratory viruses, especially with rising COVID cases or if kids are symptomatic. But, you know, it's hard to really gauge how much masks can do if it's just in a school setting and people aren't adopting it elsewhere, such as in other crowded places or in planes. But I think it is a very big signal for people out there to realize that, hey, we're not in a place where you're going to realistically have zero COVID, zero RSV, or zero influenza. So we need to pay attention to our own individual risk factors and be better about using these tools to protect the community, because protecting the community is where we need to be in 2023. We're going to have a much better year. We've learned a lot about protecting ourselves, and that's what it's going to be, a more selfless year directed towards public health.
I love it. I like it, one prop after another.
Nicely
Dr.
done.
Patel is the glasses. We got the tiara. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. Great advice. Have a great and safe party tonight, Dr. Patel. Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.